welcome to New Rose Glow. I'm doing Annabe's 7-step formula to success in her School of Affluence, and today is day 50. It is also my final day of the School of Affluence program. I have finally completed all the workbooks, all the videos, all the texts. I am done. Now my journey is not over. I still am at the beginning stages of learning all the tips and tools that have been given to me, and it'll take me a lot longer to actually really finish the School of Affluence. But I'm still excited that I got through the actual program, and I will make a video on what I've learned and just answering questions and all sorts of things like that. But today I want to focus on something else, and it's the skills that it took for me to complete the program. One in particular, which is humility. Humility, in my opinion, is one of the greatest things that you'll need when completing this program. I mean, just as much or just a little bit more than determination, patience, commitment. Like, you're going to need to humble yourself. Now, when I first heard the words humble, I did not like it. I was a child in church, and my pastor said, "You need to humble yourself. Humble yourself before the Lord." And I thought, why would I want to do that? I always thought that humbling yourself meant bowing down or to fold yourself over, and I couldn't understand why I would ever want to make myself feel small or to be small or to appear small for anyone or for anything. And it's not until I became an adult, and even now that I'm in my 30s, really thinking about why it's important to be humble and how humbleness and humility is not being valued so much today, and how it has greatly helped me in this journey. And I will tell you that without humility, I would not have finished this. So I hope that what I share today helps you become more humble in your practices in your day-to-day. And I'll tell you already, I make content like and maybe this idea of humility will catch on and more people will value being humble. I'm going to share with you 10 reasons why I think humility is amazing and tell you a little bit about how it's helped me. I really want to share some personal stories with you so that you can get an idea of where I'm coming from. If you have any ideas on how I can really foster a growth in humility, or how humility is good or even bad for society, please leave that in the comment section below. I'm not here to judge your ideas or your opinions. Whatever you write, we'll just take it for what it is. We'll be humble about it. I would love for us to have a back and forth. So as you're watching the video, please feel free to write comments as they come to you. And I see when they come in, so I'll be able to start a dialogue with you. What I'm going to try to do is set time aside so that I can actually respond to your comments and we can have a deep conversation about humility, because it's become something that is really near and dear to my heart. It might become my new mantra, be humble. I don't know about sitting down after that. If you've heard the song by Kendrick Lamar, "Be Humble, Sit Down," that's just a joke. I am going to tell you about humility and why it's important. I started thinking about humility more recently because of this channel, YouTube and Instagram. I've been getting comments from people, really positive ones. They've said things like, "You're brave, you're courageous, you are truthful, you're honest, you're a breath of fresh air." They've said things like this. And I don't often get compliments like that, at least not face to face. People say that online. And I've been thinking about, why are people saying this online and not so much in person? And is who I am online different from who I am in person? I just immediately don't think it is, but there is a really stark difference, and it's that I am actually sharing who I am online, whereas in real life I don't interact with people too often, and when I do interact with people, it's not often a deep conversation about who I am as a person and how I could be better and opening myself up to criticism. It's not that. So there is a huge difference, whether I really want to acknowledge that or not. I want to talk about how this whole experience has shaped my opinion on humility and how now I love humility. There are 10 things that have really come to mind, and let's jump right in. So humility, in my opinion, really sparks self-awareness. While I've been on this journey, I've been thinking about my own talents and skills and the accomplishments I've had in life and how that adds to affluent society and what I have to really offer someone who is in a position to help my life. And it's made me think about how I talk about those things. Do I say those things with a lot of pride and say, well, I am an accomplished person who has done this, this, and that, and say it like I did it all on my own when I haven't? I always feel like everything we do in life is with the assistance of someone else or something else. Whether it is someone like your parents making sure you survive to your adulthood, or whether it is as basic as plants giving you food so that you can eat. Somebody, something is always helping you so that you can get where you are. And to say, I have done this, or I am so great because of this, it is only a partial truth. It's not 100% because it doesn't give credit to the people and the things that really have helped you. And I think it would be absolutely silly to say, I have won this award because, 8,000 trees have given me apples so that I could live, to see this day. I think it would be absolutely silly to say something like that. So I am struggling with a way to really articulate how I can speak about myself and my accomplishments without seeming really haughty about everything that I've done or where I am in life. With that, I also need to be honest about how I am not where I want to be in life and how other people, other things have influenced that, and be aware of what factors have really fed into my successes and my failures. I think that once we humble ourselves, lower our guards, lower our expectations, lower our mindset that we are above everything, or that self-centeredness, I think that we're able to really assess what is happening in life and to really have our eyes open to what is affecting each thing. I also like to do this activity, which is going outside and looking at the sky and seeing how grand it is and how small I am compared to the sky, and then thinking about how small I am compared to the planet and to the universe. And I know this is a popular activity, but I like to think about the fact that no matter what is going on in my life, it's never a big deal. It's never so grand that it stops the world. Everything's going to keep going on, and this kind of self-awareness, it brings peace to me because I can think that there's nothing going on that's so big that I have to be, at a huge worry about it, because it really doesn't matter in the end. It really, it's not a huge deal. And when good things happen, now I don't always look at it positive things through the lens of it's not a big deal. I know it's not a big deal. But it also is a kind of deal where I think of it as all the things that could have happened in the world that, could be negative, and I have something positive, and that's wonderful. Look at my relationship to everything in the universe, everything in existence, and it has been decided somehow that I will have this positive thing, and I find joy in the positive things, and I find peace in the negative things, because I know that all in all, it's not something that I have a lot of control over, and relinquishing that control really releases a lot of anxiety within me so that I can be more calm in situations. Also, it fosters honesty. Once I take a really good look at myself and my relationship to the world and to existence, I really can start thinking, next about my influence on the world and into existence, and what I actually am doing to contribute or to negatively affect everything. Thinking about things that I say to people, or things that I do, or if I'm being kind, or if I'm really respecting or treating people the way that I would like to be treated. Being honest with myself is not always the easiest thing. I have to think about my past self. And I told you about the times when I thought I was being funny, I thought I was being silly, and I would say things to people that weren't so polite. And honestly, I cringe thinking about that. I cringe now thinking about how I could have affected people negatively and affected their lives, or their perspective of the world or myself. And when I humble myself and let down those guards and really take myself off the pedestal, I can take an honest look at my actions and evaluate what I'm doing wrong. I can also look at the things that I feel are positive for other people and try to do more of those things. Sometimes we only focus on the negative and we get rid of the negative, but we're not adding a lot of positive in. So we don't have a lot of positive traits. So it's really important, I think, to not only be honest, but to evaluate what you want to happen or you want to be. Humility also fosters self-acceptance. When you are numb to expectations, when you stop thinking that things should go this way or they shouldn't go that way, when you let go of those huge hopes and this huge entitlement to certain things, you'll find that you will take things as they come. When bad things happen, I feel bad about them. I wish they didn't happen. But I also know that bad things happen. I had a relative who was taken from the world. And I went through the stages of grief. But then I got to this place of understanding that while I would never wish his taking away, his taking from on anyone, I would never wish anyone be taken the way that he was taken. I would never wish anyone be taken at all. I have to accept that I don't have control over that, and I have to accept that this is an experience in existence. This is like, if you exist at all, you have a range of experiences that can happen to you and that can happen around you, and you don't have control over that. And even when I'm in the School of Affluence, I have to understand that when I go out to events, this is like even on a smaller scale, when I go out to events, I don't have control over what other people do or how they perceive me. I can do everything that I want to do, but I have to accept that I look the way I do, I sound the way I do, and that my mannerisms, as much as I try to control them, will still have some kind of consistentness. Once I accept that, I can really look at what I can control and what I cannot. And it is helpful. It is very helpful when I'm struggling in something, instead of going like, oh, I can't stand it. I stop and I take myself back in and I say, this is who you are. This is what you are. And you're doing your best. And I assess whether I'm doing my best. And if I am, I won't be upset or frustrated with myself. I'm just less likely to spark up strong emotions of anger or frustration if I have self-acceptance. And I find that I'm only experiencing that with humility. You'll also have more control of your emotions. So when you are not experiencing these spikes in emotions, you're not, getting super angry or getting really disappointed to the point of like you're crying because you're so disappointed. While I'm not against you having a full range of emotions, I do feel that if you don't have heavy expectations on existence, if you don't have expectations that are very weighty on the way things should and must go, then you're less likely to have these strong reactions to whatever outcome does happen. Again, I go back to, we can't always control everything that happens. There's always other influences, and you're more likely to have a positive reaction when positive things happen. that outweighs the reaction you'll have when negative things happen. So I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody does something nice for you and you expected them to do that thing. Like they go and mow your lawn and it's because they said they would mow your lawn. And, lo and behold, they came over and mowed your lawn. How do you feel? You feel good, right? Good. I'm so glad that you did what you said you would do. I expected you to do that because that's what people do. They do what they say they're going to do. Now let's switch that situation around and say that somebody comes and mows your lawn and you weren't expecting it. You'll be more excited than if you were expecting it. And it's not to say that you have to drop all your expectations or lower your expectations. It's just that you have to be mindful of your expectations and honest about what role they play in your life and what role they can play in your life, just because you don't have full control of everything. When I'm working through the School of Affluence, I'm constantly thinking like, I washed my face today. I used these beauty products. I spent how many hours with a mask on my face? Why don't I have great skin? I should have great skin. No. Honestly, your skin is going to do what it's going to do based on what's going on internally, based on what's happening externally, and I can't rush that process. Even though I'm putting on masks, I'm doing all these things to help better myself, it doesn't mean that things are going to change overnight. And when I started releasing my expectations on, how good I'm supposed to look immediately, aren't I supposed to have that classy hairstyle by now? Aren't I supposed to have a nice wardrobe? I started changing my behaviors. Why aren't people, falling over to be, friends with me? I have to release those expectations. I don't know what all the factors are into why things are happening the way they are. I don't have a view into everything that's happening in the universe. So I really need to accept that and understand that I don't have that full control and humble myself in the situation and just be open to whatever happens. So yes, I wake up, there's a pimple. It's okay. It's okay there's a pimple. There is a pimple. Okay. You put your makeup on, you keep going. I'm less likely to be upset about it and to be like, I stopped eating sugar for a week and I have a pimple. What? I'm less likely to be like that if I just accept things as they come. With humility, you also are more accessible to people. And that's because you'll have less judgments. And less judgments come because you have less expectations for people. So when I stop thinking, everyone should look a certain way, in society, they should be dressed at least to this standard, or they should speak to this standard, or they should stand and act to this standard, then when I meet people who are outside of that, I'm less likely to make a snap judgment on them and to think negative things about them because I will just accept them as they are. I don't have these heavy, weighty requirements for people, and not only am I not having that requirement for myself, I'm not having it for others. And I feel like humility really is a way to purify your mind. Because instead of thinking, and I will tell you, I am guilty of this. When somebody walks by, back when I was younger, it used to happen more so. And it's not that I'm perfect now and now I've mastered it. It's just when I was younger, I noticed there was a significant issue with that. I would judge people really harshly. I would say, why'd you make that choice? If I saw somebody with, a physique that I didn't approve of, I would think, like, why don't they just make these changes so that they can look the way that I think is acceptable? And I would think that, and it wouldn't be right. And I didn't think it was any, problem when I was younger because it's just me in my mind thinking it. But honestly, that's not a way that I want to think anymore. I no longer think that's right. I no longer think it's acceptable to judge people so heavily. Excuse me. I feel like the less we judge people and the less we judge ourselves, you need to be accountable for your actions. You need to hold people accountable for what their actions are and what they're doing. But to be so heavy on they need to exist the way that you want them to exist and existence needs to happen the way you want it to happen, that can be let go. And that's freeing. And if you've ever gone through the the system of constantly judging everything. This is a good situation. This is a bad situation. These are good people. These are bad people. If you've ever gone through that cycle and then stopped in life, it's like a weight is being removed from you. When you can take off that judge's hat and just be a citizen of the world, it's very lightening. I feel like my heart is light and like I can actually go through my day without feeling any kind of weight on myself, because it is heavy to wear the judge's hat. It helps social connectedness when we are humble. So this goes along with just being open. If you are a person who is open to sharing your full truth and your full honesty, then you're more likely to spark in other people a willingness to open up themselves and to speak with you in the same openness that you are sharing with them. So when I speak to people and I am completely honest and I am open about things, I find that they are honest and they are open about things as well. They share things with me that they might not have shared with other people, just because I am sharing things about myself that might be on a deeper level. It's not that you have to go around and tell everybody your business, but you do need to be comfortable with what you are going to say and be truthful and honest about how you say it. I don't want to say it's common knowledge. I want to say that it is common for people, or I'll just say it. In your experience as a human being, you've most likely come across the idea that you can shape the way people view something based on the way you say it. So if there is a way that you say something that gives people an impression that is truthful and accurate to your exact experience, then please use that method versus a method of saying something that is kind of like exactly what you're sharing, but said in a way, whether it's an inflection or a tone or whatever, but it gives the impression that is false. So if you are going to say the same thing and one way of saying it is going to give an honest representation, choose that way over the way that is going to give a false representation. And I feel like that is going to make people connect with you. I have definitely noticed on this channel that people have said the word relatable. They've said that often. And I feel that you can only be relatable if people can see themselves in you. And we have a lot in common as human beings. So if we are able to share the truth about us, that truth about other people will probably be mirrored. It's not something where you're going to meet people and they're going to say like, oh, you're the strangest person in the world, unless they're super judgmental and need to humble themselves. That's all I have to say about that, is that I feel like we connect ourselves to each other a lot more when we lower our guards. For you to do all of this, for you to be humble, for you to really open yourself to receiving and listening to what people are saying and to giving people exactly what your truth is, you have to have a purification of your intentions. So it's not that you have to be pious and holy. It's that when you do say something, you have to be fully aware of what you're going to communicate and there not being a double intention. So sometimes people say things because they want you to think something else. I might mention an award that I've won so that you think great things about me and you think I'm wonderful and great. But if I am clear on what my actual intention is, I will align what I say with what my intention is, and I'll say more things that are truthful and that are less harmful, in my opinion, than if I were to say something and it was out of alignment. And I'll give you an example because it's a little bit to take in. But when I'm having a conversation with someone, and especially like on this channel, when I'm having a conversation with you all, I have to think about, why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about humility? Is it because I want you to think that I'm the most humble person in the world? No, and I'm hoping through these examples that you see I'm not the most humble person in the world, but that I do value humility and that this is something I would like to share with you. If I were to be in this video and to say, like, this are all the examples of me being humble and how great it's been in my life, if I were to do that, then the impression might be different. It might be you're trying to also say that you're the most humble person in the world. But if I give you examples of times I've failed or things that I struggle with, then that might reshape the opinion. And that's what I really want you to take away from this example of requiring you to purify your intentions, is that once you know what you really want to communicate and you use humility, you'll be able to communicate those things a lot more clearly and a lot more truthfully, and you'll have less issues with communication. It also, and this is one of my favorite things, it sparks thankfulness and gratitude. So I am very thankful. I'm a very thankful person. I wake up every morning and I just thank the Lord that I'm awake, I'm alive. I get up and I'm like, oh, I made it. Oh my gosh, I made it. It's kind of silly, but I get excited just like thinking like I was chosen, I'm here, I'm alive. That's so great. And I think about even the most terrible things that have happened, I've still been excited that I have been chosen to be alive today. And I think about that only because there is another option for me. There's the option of not having those wonderful things, not, having 2 lungs at work, not having eyes at work, not having all these things that we could name for days. That is an alternate option as to what I currently have. And because I know this and I'm clear on this and I'm honest about the fact that it is amazing that I have these things, that I am grateful. And I'm truly, like in my heart, I'm grateful about it. And I hope that if you think about all the outcomes that could happen in life, not everyone is as fortunate as you are. You already know this, right? Not everyone has what you have. That's why we all have different things in our house, and we all dress differently, we all look differently. We are not all the same, we're not all experiencing life the same. And when you humble yourself and really acknowledge that you are not entitled to any of this, but you have these things, it can really make you more excited about getting up in the morning or just existing. It definitely has added a lot more gratitude to my life. It also sparks joy and happiness, so this kind of rolls off of being thankful. I'm a lot more happy as a person because of humility. When I think about a positive thing happening, going back to the lawn mowing, like when something good happens to me, and I think about the fact that a million bad things could have happened, but instead this good thing happened to me, I am so happy about it. And I find that I get really excited. In the past, I've had people say I'm hyperactive, or that, I have this like energy issue where I'm always like bouncing off the walls. And that's because I generally am happy about the positive things that are happening. I do acknowledge the negative things, but the positive things really stick out to me as like, wow, out of all the negative things, this great thing has happened, and great things can happen ahead and in the future. This can happen for me, this can happen for anyone. It's just a great thing. And the last thing I want to touch on is that it really is contagious. Once you start becoming humble, you'll notice that people around you, if they are people who value having strong, positive morals, I said morale. If they value having strong morals and having strong, positive impacts on people, then they most likely will begin to humble themselves as well. I do know there are people out there who, I like to call them the trolls of the world. They want to watch the world burn, and they want to watch everyone in it burn at the same time. So there are all those people that exist. But for the most part, I've noticed that people have responded very positively when I am humble. When I am honest and open, I notice them being honest and open. When I am thankful for every good thing that happens, I notice them being more thankful for everything that happens and less complaining on things that are negative that happen. I was speaking with my sister today, and I ran through some of my points with her, and she said, that is so true, because I've noticed that in my life when I'm at work and I humble myself, I find that other people are also humbling themselves around me. And over time, the more you are humble around people and more humble yourself, you should be humble yourself so that you are naturally humble around people, you'll notice, hopefully, this is the same experience that you have, the same experience that I've had, that they will be more open to having truthful dialogues with you and more mindful and considerate of your existence as they are considerate and mindful and aware of their existence and its overall role with everything else. I really hope that this has sparked some sort of thought about humility in you, and I would love to hear what your thoughts are on humility and about your own experiences with it. I really do want to hear your experiences with humility, because I'm a little bit, just a little bit obsessed right now about humility. I've been watching videos on it. I've been asking other people about their experiences with humility, because it's just exciting for me. I cannot believe that's something that I thought was silly as a child. I thought, like, why would you do that? It's now been something that has really been a tool for me, not only to like finish this program, but just in life. It has just helped me so much. I want to hear about your experiences. Please leave that in the comment section. If you like content like this about leveling up, about improving yourself, what I do in my my journey, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you know when I make videos. And if you like this video, you like this content, please hit the like button. I would love to know that you like it. If you don't like it, you already know that you can just watch another video. Don't touch anything, just watch another video. Watch something that's going to bring your mood up. And I hope to see you all in the next video. I hope you have amazing weeks. Goodbye. Bye.